As we've been telling you, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and with over 240,000 new cases diagnosed in the U.S. every single year, the disease affects millions of American families.
Alyssa Calver was just 34 years old when she was diagnosed, a mom with a baby daughter. She's here to tell us how the disease helped to inspire her to start her own nonprofit, WeGotThis.org. Alyssa, thanks so much for joining us. I'm so incredibly inspired by your story.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys having me.
And we know it's a personal story, so we appreciate you sharing it with all of us. This is a personal issue for you. What is your history with metastatic breast cancer?
So about 2 years ago, right before my daughter's first birthday, was when we found the lump in my breast and I officially got diagnosed with breast cancer. It wasn't too long after that, with additional scans, that I found out that at age 34, I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. It had spread from my left breast to my lymph nodes, liver, and lower spine, which was, of course, shocking to get a cancer diagnosis to begin with. But we talk so much about prevention, and I had done all of the things. I had had a breast exam just a couple months before. I had been having blood work and other things that didn't quite feel right after having my daughter. That didn't have results that would ever have indicated breast cancer. So we just kind of chalked it up to the fact that I had had a baby, you know? So that was when I got diagnosed and got really rushed into chemo to fight it, which we did. And it was in that 5th round of my initial chemo where there was things that I realized that I never would have realized before, that there has to be a better solution to. And to me, that was the way that we give and receive in hard times.
So you chalked so much up to the fact that you just had a baby. What were some of the symptoms that you were concerned about that ultimately wound up being breast cancer?
Yeah, so the first symptom that I experienced, that again, had no idea, never would have thought it was breast cancer, but my feet were going numb when I would have sneakers on too long. I normally play tennis a lot, and I couldn't be on the court for more than like 20, 30 minutes without my feet going completely numb. So I immediately thought it was something, I went to a rheumatologist, got a lot of blood work done. I went to all the specialists, and there was really nothing that came up that irregular, not even extreme inflammation and things that you would assume. So it went on and off for quite some time. I did physical therapy. I assumed it was plantar fasciitis or other physical things that might have been going on. And it wasn't until my husband, luckily, found my lump, and it hadn't surfaced before that. I would imagine I've had cancer, for quite some time before that, where it had already metastasized. But I'm learning, and have learned over these past couple of years, that for stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, the lump can be delayed in how you find that. I know that can sound scary because, we do all these things to make sure that we're preventing it. But I think it's really encouraging that once we did find it, there's so many solutions. I mean, I've been able to be on treatments throughout the past couple of years that have allowed me to still live my life. And I plan on doing that for many, many years to come.
And you're helping others along the way. You started WeGotThis.org. You've hosted events with Blippi. You've been on Let's Make a Deal opposite Wayne Brady. Tell us more about your organization.
So my organization, I say all the time, it's my life's mission. It's the best project I've ever gone to work on. In my 5th round of chemo, like I mentioned earlier, I started thinking about all the texts and calls I was getting, which I appreciated so much, from friends and family, of how can I help? What can I do? What do you need? And I still didn't know, even being several rounds into chemo. And I thought about how, I had my daughter, and we have gift registries for babies. We have gift registries for weddings. And then for some reason, when you get diagnosed with cancer or these other hard times, a lot of it is kind of narrowed down to a GoFundMe or a meal train. And for most of chemo, I couldn't taste food. So the meal train was more so for my family than maybe even for me. But I started thinking of these ideas and talking with friends. I'm not previously from the tech space at all. So we started coming up with this concept of creating a gift registry for cancer patients. And I really felt strongly that that gift registry had to be done in a nonprofit way. I wanted to make sure that people had access to anything they wanted to register for. So while you can still register for things off Amazon, Target, Walmart, wherever you'd like, You can register for things off Etsy, or you could register for merch off of your favorite nonprofit site. You can register for gift cards or just funds if you need them. But I think being able to have that platform was so important, and that's when we got into action and I launched the GoFundMe, which we were able to raise over $100,000, which proved to me that I wasn't the only one that felt this was necessary. And since then, it's just been growing fast. We've had support from amazing brands like Crocs and Bombas socks. I use the Bombas example a lot because chemo symptoms I never would have known before I went through chemo. And I get a lot of cuticle infections, like in my toes. They just get really irritated. And Bombas socks don't have any seams in the toes. So I exchanged every pair of socks I owned.
Amazing.
And that was what I asked people to get me. Yeah, and it really, these little things make a huge difference.
It's so incredibly impressive. $100,000 you raised,
Amazing.
and this whole gift registry idea for cancer patients. Love it. Thank you so much, Alyssa Calver, for joining us.